Welcome to Comfort Zone, a podcast all about pushing your hosts, well, outside of their comfort zone. I'm Christopher Lawley, and each week I am joined by two incredible co-hosts. As always, I'm joined by Matt Birchler. Matt, how are you?
Chris, I'm doing well. I wanted to just let the audience know who's watching that I'm drinking a Brew Doctor kombucha, which is not alcoholic, which really confused the cashier at the grocery store this weekend. They really thought it was alcoholic. So I just want people to know this is not, and I am fine. It is 10 a.m. Nothing's happening.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere, Matt, and where it's probably past 5 o'clock is Neelion. Neelion, how are you?
I'm doing well. It's almost 6. Yeah, you're right.
So it's not 5 o'clock there.
It's almost 6.
Okay. Well, pour me something tall and strong.
I'm drinking fizzy water with a lychee syrup in it.
And I have a Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar, but with cherry this time. It's okay. It's not as good as the cream soda one. The cream soda, they were out of the cream soda one, so we're doing the cherry this week. It's good. I mean, I think Dr. Pepper already has a bit of a cherry flavor to it, so it just enhances the cherry flavor.
You
don't even know.
You don't even know.
You kid. You don't know.
I don't know.
Anyways, we got some tiny topics. Matt, you made something for Comfort Zone. You want to talk about it?
I did. I made the Comfort Zone database, which is the coolest database on the internet, and it's powered by crypto. So here's how it works. You are going to pay us a certain amount. No. This is a little thing that I made for myself where I had a problem where I was like, have we talked about this before? I think on a recent episode, I was like, I don't know if we've done this challenge before. And so I wanted to have a thing I could use to just search our past transcripts very easily and see when we talked about things. And this quickly spiraled into well, this should be a web app. That'd be the easiest way to do this. Let me do that. Okay, I've done that. Now, deploying this online in 2026 is super easy and super free. So I just posted it online and people can check it out if they want to see when we talked about things. And it has subscribe links and all that stuff. And it looks cute like our podcast.
Nice.
Aww.
I love this. By the way, I looked up, because I was kind of curious, what has been mentioned on the podcast more, Mustangs or Dr. Pepper? Dr. Pepper has been mentioned more.
Well, that makes sense, I think.
Sure.
If it told us who brought them up, these are unanimously Chris topics.
Yeah, that's why I was curious, because I was like, how many times have I mentioned the things that I love? I should have thrown in Danielle. Oh, that, because I know I haven't mentioned her as much. Ooh, I hope she's not listening and looks.
But this is good. Now because we're starting to get a lot of episodes in our backlog, and now we can search for things if we've already talked about something or not.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I love this. This was great. In fact, for the challenge that I am going to issue today, I looked up to see if we had done something similar, and we had not. So,
Interesting.
at least as far as I could tell. Matt, a couple weeks ago, I suggested you get some new AirPods Pro 3 tips, and because of our weird recording schedule, I believe you have them now, and I'm curious what you think.
I do have them now. They're on my AirPods Pro 3, which I do have on my person because they are better than Apple's tips.
Yes! Victory! Woohoo! Chris wins
So-
something. I don't know what I win.
My micro review of them is they are better than Apple's tips for my ears, which is good. They do not physically hurt me, which is the bar that they are having to clear. They are not as good as the AirPods Pro 2 tips that Apple shipped for me. So I still think those are like just peak comfort. Just they slide into your ears and I'm just like, I'm in heaven. But these don't hurt me. Again, it's a low bar, but it's definitely better than what Apple shipped. And it's gotten me using them again. It's gotten me appreciating the slide gestures to change the volume on the Pros, which the normal ones don't have.
Nice. And for the record, these are the Charge-In Active Foam something link in the description.
Yes. Yeah, they came just like 2 days later after I ordered them. It was great.
Oh, nice. I'm so glad to hear they're working for you. I am working on a little short form video about them just to kind of spread the word because I know you're not the only one that has had complaints about the AirPod Pros 3.
Yeah.
Can I also talk about AirPods tips?
Please.
Except it's not AirPods tips, but it's pretty close. It's my new, yep, headphone cushions.
Are they new?
Those, yes, those
Wait,
are.
are these another new pair?
I think so. I
Oh,
I just searched on the Comfort Zone database to see if I already talked about these ones, and it doesn't seem like it. So these ones, they're really nice because they are angled. Like, I don't know if I can show you. They are angled. See? Uh-huh.
no, I see. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. They kind of got a slope to them.
Yeah. Which means like the back of my ears don't touch the driver inside the cups. So this is really comfortable. And also they are since they are angled toward your ears, it's like it preserves the sound because it adds quite a bit of depth in the back, but since it's angled and in the front it's keeping the same distance, the sound isn't affected. So yeah.
Clever.
Nice. That's actually really smart. I've never seen angled ear cups like that. Maybe we'll have
Yeah.
some more headphone talk a little later as well. But for
Oh
now,
yeah.
we have some feedback.
We do.
I don't. I think this is kind of related to Neeleon stuff, or
Yeah, I put these in here. I pulled from our feedback form, link in the description, of course. We have two pieces of feedback this week. One from Jesse. Jesse is responding to Chris, your question about how we name our devices
that's right.
from a couple weeks ago. And Jesse says, my iPad is named Love Magnet after the object of that name, carried by the Shaggy Man character in the children's book The Road to Oz. I'm not familiar with
What
this,
is
but
that?
No idea what that is.
yes. So, but basically, because my iPad feels like a magical, lovable object to me. My Mac's
That's
internal
true.
SSD is named a lot, partially because I have a lot of files on it, and partially inspired by the Ali Brosh book, Hyperbole and a Half. So, very deep literary cuts, or mainstream literary cuts, and we just don't read. I don't know.
I literally have a library outside of my office right now, and not a single one of those books on those shelves belongs to me. They are all Danielle's. So you can tell who in this house reads.
Yeah.
All my books fit on this bookshelf back here, which is majority full of Legos. So yeah.
I feel like one day I should name all my devices after obscure characters from the Silmarillion.
Ooh.
Because it's one of the only big books that I've read in my life. So I should flex a little bit.
Okay, I've tried reading the Silmarillion several times.
It's
the
something.
hardest book I've
Yes.
ever tried to read. It is insane how hard
insane.
that book is.
Yes.
In fact, I have a copy, right? Hang on.
Why would you want to show your copy?
I have my copy of the Silmarillion.
Oh, it's a fancy one.
Yeah, it's a fancy one.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so yeah, if it's written in runic like this, Chris, it's not going to be easy to
No,
read.
it's in
You're
English.
going to want the
See?
English translation. That's going to
Yeah.
help a lot.
Hang on, focus. It's in English.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
It's in Elvish.
Danielle got me these really nice copies of all the Lord of the Rings books. So Silmarillion, The Hobbit, and the three Lord of the Rings. So she got me a really nice copy of these a couple years ago for Christmas. I think I talked about this on the show.
Nice.
Anyways.
Let me check in the database. Silmarillion. Okay.
The second bit of feedback is from listener Josh, who said, on Comfort Zone episode 91, Neelian mentioned that she's using an emoji picker app in place of Raycast emoji picker. Got on GitHub and forked it, and it was a rabbit hole. I want to know more. Is there anything you want to say about this? What this emoji picker turned into? Anything you want to plug?
So at the time when I said this, it was meant as a teaser for what I announced last week when I launched Tiny Start, the launcher that I made for the Mac. And yes, I think I said this last week in the episode a little bit, but yes, part of that rabbit hole started like this. I was looking for obscure emoji pickers that people made on GitHub, and I found one that somebody made, and like it seems like this person made it over a week and then abandoned it and never touched it again. So I forked it, and this is how like I learned a bunch of the basics, especially in regard to Swift UI, getting used to that. And so yeah, that's how I really iterated on that a bunch, and then I scrapped it, started from scratch, made tiny start, and that was great.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of development projects that were scrapped, on Cozy Zone this week, we roasted each other's 10-year-old home screens, iPhones,
Yeah.
iPads, all sorts of different things, even an Android phone. And I showed off screenshots of my first app I ever made, first and only app I ever made. And when you see the screenshots, you'll know why it was the only app I ever made, because oh boy, is it ugly. But yeah, that was this week on Cozy Zone. Cozy Zone's our members-only special show where you get an extra episode of us every single week.
And my home screen had widgets in 2016. Yeah.
Because
Technology hadn't reached a certain OS yet.
Yeah.
we hadn't been judged to be allowed to have them. We hadn't been good enough to be allowed to have them.
At the time, you were like, "Hey, iOS don't need widgets,
We didn't need them,
right?"
Yeah, widgets are
didn't
actually
need them.
bad.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
actually bad.
Steve had decided we didn't need them, so we were okay with that. Yeah. Anything else, or should we move on to the main show?
Let's move on. I want to roast you.
Okay, I don't know why you want to roast me. I'm bringing something brand new to the show. Nothing like this ever seen before, ever whatsoever. So this last week, a large technology company had their 50th anniversary, and on the day of their 50th anniversary, they released a new product for purchase. It had been announced a couple weeks before, but you could go into one of their stores and buy it.
50th anniversary Mac or something?
Yes, but the 50th anniversary Mac comes in the form of headphones.
Oh, no.
I have the AirPods Max 2. Not to be confused with the AirPods Max 1, which, hang on one second. Look at these things. Like, they're totally different. They're absolutely completely different. You can't tell me which one's which.
I can tell if you place in front of the camera like the canopy, especially like the headband.
Yeah, look at that.
We'll be able to tell. Yes.
Yeah. The headband on my original AirPods Max, that literally I got these the day they were released. I've had these since 2020. The canopy on these things is completely destroyed. The fact that Apple doesn't sell a replacement for the headband is a travesty. But yeah, these are my original ones. If you want to buy them, let me know.
Especially since the headband is not that hard to remove. I
No,
think.
it's literally like a pin clip thing that you push down and it just pops out. Like, it's actually pretty simple. But enough about the originals; those are filthy. These are the original ones with Lightning. I got them day one. They're filthy. But I have the brand new AirPods Pro Max Ultra something 2s, and I kind of love them. I kind of absolutely love them.
Why?
Okay, so one, they're comfortable. They are comfortable for me.
Yeah.
They're comfortable. Two, the ANC is better. Like, they are better.
Okay.
Three, the color is much better on these. Now, the thing that actually really does bug me is, so Apple did the AirPods Max. Then 2 years ago in 2024, they did the AirPods Max USB-C, and they did new colors for those. Now they did the AirPods Max 2, and it's the same colors as the USB-C version, not to be confused with the original version. So the midnight is the same midnight as the USB-C first gen. And you would think, like, if they're going to put another number behind this, they would have come up with new colors. Like, that's actually my my nitpick complaint about this. Like, I have big complaints about these. Don't get me wrong. I do have big complaints about these. But the fact that they couldn't bother come up with new colors, because I don't think the color... Like, I got the black midnight ones because I don't think the fun color options are actually that good looking. I don't like them. But yeah.
Do we think it's because so they were preparing the AirPods Max 2 and they had a slate of new colors for that, but then they had to rush a USB-C version because of regulations. So
Probably.
they went with the colors that they already had
Probably.
prepared. Yeah.
Probably. I wouldn't be surprised if that was a thing. I'm more surprised at how long these took to come out. It probably was one of those things where, like, oh crap, that UK law or European law or whatever passed, and now we have to sell them with USB-C and stuff like that. So let's put that update out. But these weren't the twos weren't ready yet and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, but they're still overpriced. $550 is way too much for over-the-ear headphones.
Insane.
It's way too much. I did it for the show. Also tax write-off. What? Nothing. The adaptive mode is really nice to have. I really like the adaptive mode. In fact, I have gone into the settings and turned off the transparency mode. So, like, when you click the button, transparency mode isn't an option. It's just noise canceling or adaptive now.
What?
Yep.
Why?
Yeah, that's the way to go.
Yeah, adaptive is literally better than transparency
Why?
mode because
Why
it's
is
still
it better?
because it's still blocking out stuff like lawnmowers, dogs barking, cars driving
But
by.
as far as I understand, the transparency mode still caps those in volume, right?
It's not as much. Like, it still lets that stuff through.
Yeah. The best way I can describe it, because I didn't like the adaptive mode at first. It was
Same.
weird, but I think they've tuned it since then to be a little better. I think what I like about adaptive mode is so noise cancellation cancels out like everything. So if someone like tries to talk to you, like there's traffic or something, like that is all blocked out equally. But with adaptive mode, it's like white noise and that sort of thing is blocked out. But you still hear, like, if someone talks to you, you'll just hear it come through clearly. So that's kind of nice. It's kind of like a balanced thing. So like it worked for me on my last flight that I took. The airplane noise was like really wiped out pretty well, but I could still like hear the stewardess ask me a question or something. So
Yeah.
I've not tried adaptive mode on my AirPods Pro since it came out because I tried it when it came out and I hated it.
yeah,
Disabled
It's
it.
changed. I tried adaptive mode when it first came out. I didn't like it. I turned it off, and I've gone back to it in the last probably 6 months or so. And I like it a lot. Like, that's when I'm walking around the house, I have adaptive mode on. So Danielle can still talk to me, but like if she's cooking something, or like if the neighbor's doing something or something's going on, like outside of that, that's still being blocked out.
yeah. And pro tip for our future dog owner here, you should.
Spoiler alert. Thanks.
Oh, don't. So
It's
for
okay.
example,
It's okay. No, it's
first of all,
okay. I was gonna get to it later, but that's okay. That's okay.
I walk the dog, and one of I think the default settings for adaptive mode is when someone starts talking or you start talking, it automatically dips whatever you're listening to. Maybe it's not adaptive mode; it's a whole separate setting. Turn that off when you're walking the dog, because when you're going to say like "Come on, buddy," and it's going to like it dips everything. It's horrible. So I say turn that off.
Yes. Yeah. It's like I forget what that's called, but I already have that off because I hate that setting. Like, I hate the whole, and then there's like the adaptive volume thing where, like, if you start making a bunch of noise, like, my big thing is like, if I start taking out the trash, like pulling the trash bag out of the trash can, taking it to the bin, throwing it in there and stuff like that, the volume goes all over the place. I turn that off. Like, I don't like that.
Yeah.
But some stuff I do like. These now mean, having the AirPods Max 2 now mean I have no more Lightning devices whatsoever. That's it. These are it. There's no more Lightning devices. I think maybe Danielle might have a pair of Lightning AirPods Pro 2, but that's not my problem. That's her problem, not mine. I'm just kidding. I've given her solutions, mostly just wireless charging. So no more Lightning devices, and I feel good about that. like death to lightning.
Wow. Okay.
Yep. Yeah, that's right.
Be real.
Oh,
Is that the most exciting thing about this product? That you now do not need a lightning cable?
no. Better
Okay.
ANC is.
Okay.
Look, I'm going to tell. So I had that whole saga of getting a new roof. Getting a new roof was the loudest. Okay. Editor Chris, prepare to bleep. Getting a new roof is the loudest thing that I've ever been around in my life. And I've grown up going to monster truck rallies. Like, getting a new roof was insane. I still had to work while we were getting a new roof put on. Having AirPods Max were the only reason why I was able to, was because of noise canceling. Now, having even better noise canceling, yes, please. Now, I don't expect to get a new roof again anytime soon, but loud things happen. I will take better ANC. Absolutely. Also, the battery life being refreshed is kind of nice. I was having to charge the old ones quite often, and having a new fresher battery is pretty nice.
In regard to ANC, I don't want to dismiss your experience or whatever, but it feels like I don't know how to feel about this, because for the past several years, like even when they first came out, the AirPods Max, people were saying and kept saying that it was among the best ANC you could get on over-ear headphones, right? On par, if not better, than the Sonys and the Bose. So how is it even better than that? I have a hard time understanding.
So when you're wearing them, we've all had them, we've all wear them, and for the most part, it blocks out everything. But every once in a while, like, there's something really loud that can still bleed through. Like, there's something that can still get through. This just takes that extra, like, 20, 30, maybe even 50% off that top, where it's just like it's silent. It's truly silent. Like, Danielle scared again, editor Chris, be prepared to bleep. Danielle walked in my office, and as you can see, my desk is over here for video viewers. The door to my office is on the opposite wall, so if I'm facing my monitor, I cannot see somebody walk in. Danielle scared out of me. When she walked in, she tapped me on the shoulder, and I had those on. I had no idea anyone had opened the door and had walked in. And our floors outside, so in this room it's carpet, but in the hallway and living room and space like that, we have this linoleum hardwood floor kind of thing, and it is so loud, it's so creaky. I don't hear anyone walking anymore. It's fantastic. When I have them on, I am focused straight ahead. There is nothing getting through.
Okay, Chris, you've actually walked into a draft in my blog, which is my number one pet peeve from reviewers is when they say something's perfect. Because if it's perfect, then you don't get to be excited in a year or two when they make it better. If you can't acknowledge that these things are wrong now, you can't say that they were wrong before because you said today it was perfect. So what I'm saying, and this is going into the comfort zone database, is when the AirPods 3 come out, you may not say anything about the ANC because it's perfect.
That's a good point. I actually like that. Now that I actually agree with your point, even though I'm contradicting myself now.
It's easy to do because you're like, oh, this is as good as it could possibly be. But then 2 years later, we're like, oh, well, obviously this wasn't perfect. We could get better.
And I would say from a reviewer standpoint, that situation is, perfect is, everything I've tried, all my experiences, I've never tried anything that's better than these. So obviously these are perfect. This is as good as they can get. And then technology advances and, something else is going to, it's like the M1 chip. Oh, the M1 chip is perfect. Like, it's great. M1 Pro and M1 Max comes out. Holy crap. No, this is even better. And then M2, blah, 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 blah. So I see where you're coming from. And you know what? I'm going to try not to say that anymore. I'm going to say the ANC is very good, and it's the best I have tried to this date. Okay, and I have tried Sony's, and I have tried the Bose before.
I do believe it's better, because I have tried the Sony's, and it's not as... my Sony, I have the 5s, whatever those are. And the original AirPods Max are better than those, even, I would say. So if these are even better, that's quite good.
To be fair, I don't think I've tried the Sony since the 4s. It was the one right before they folded. I don't remember. I think
before
it was
they did not fold.
Yeah,
mean,
before they
maybe.
didn't fold. Remember that time when they
Yeah.
stopped folding and then
Those
Yeah,
are
that's
the
the
fives.
five.
Those are these.
Yeah,
those are the fives?
And
Okay,
there's
okay.
always
So I
the
I
tried the
have those as
fours.
well.
The fours were the ones that were the last ones I tried then. Okay. So something else I really like about these, and it's stupid. It's really dumb. 1 second here. This guy right here. This is the Apple USB-C to 3.5 millimeter cable. Now, Neilion, you and I have had the Lightning ones. You and I used the AirPods Max for podcasting for a little while, and I think we would both agree the Lightning to 3.5 millimeter cable was the worst cable ever made. It was the worst cable. It was super thin.
Yeah.
It was fragile. My girlfriend's mom's cat ate those things up. I have probably bought 6 of them over time because she kept eating them up. My bad. I kept leaving the door open, but whatever. This is the USB-C version. It is a braided, thicker cable. Much, much nicer quality. Big complaint, still overpriced. $40 cable for this, which is stupid. Absolutely should not be that, but at least it's braided down. It's a little thicker. But it only comes in white. For a $550 pair of headphones and a $40 cable, they should have color matched these things.
Oh boy.
Isn't it like it's a reverse DAC, this cable, right?
Yeah, they have. There's a reason why it is. Somebody's taken it apart, and there is a reason why it is so expensive. But I still think
Yeah.
$40 for a cable that only works with $550 pair of headphones. Like you're not going to just buy this cable on its own. Like there's no reason to buy it. This
Ooh.
cable only works with the AirPods Max, right?
Oh, is that true? Well, I was going to say I never used the AirPods Max to record, so I never used it with my AirPods Max, ironically. But I did actually have the headphone to Lightning cable, the super thin one, specifically for my car to plug my my Lightning iPhone into the audio jack because that was. I'm sure I could have gone on Amazon and get something, but I was at the Apple store, so I just got it. But so you may still want that if you have an older car that you can't do USB to connect your phone. Might be an option.
Okay. Okay. All right. Interesting. Okay. So maybe there is a reason to have this other than that. I don't know. I just assumed this cable only worked with the AirPods Max because that's what it was designed for. But maybe I am wrong there. I shouldn't have said that. But anyways, they should have color matched them.
They should have.
It's ridiculous that they didn't color match them.
If the iMac gets color matching for all of its accessories, come on.
Right?
Come
on. Come on.
It should be in the box.
What's that? Yes, I would agree with that. It should be in the box. Especially considering one of the selling points of these is plug them into audio interface and you get lossless audio with Apple Music.
And also, it's $550.
Yeah. They do
Should
come
get a
with a
cable.
USB-C to USB-C cable, though.
Yeah.
So there is that.
But
Yeah,
But it's weird that you can't use them wired with just a USB-C cable, by the way.
it
Isn't
is
that
weird.
weird?
It is weird. It is really weird that you
Oh.
can't just go USB-C to USB-C. Yeah, it has to be
Yeah.
USB-C to 3.5.
Yeah, they do something is really weird with the AirPods Max because it's not like they don't go to analog when you plug them in. They're still digital, which means they still have to do signal conversion in the mix. And this is why you end up with this situation. You can't use a regular USB-C cable to use them wired, and you have to use their fancy cable that's a reverse DAC or whatever.
Well, it's almost as bad as and Matt, you probably remember this. Neilion might be before your time a little bit, but maybe you remember this. I don't
My
know.
time? What do you mean?
Maybe a little bit because Matt
We
and I are old
both
guys.
offended. We are
We're
both very offended.
Matt and I are old guys. Neilion's the youngster, the young hip. I'm cool.
You're about to
I
talk
don't know.
about the Walkman or what?
No, the iPod. When the iPod
Okay.
video came out, Apple released an RCA cable. So it was it plugged into the 3.5 millimeter headphone cable, and then it had the red, yellow, and white RCA extensions
Oh,
Yeah.
coming out of it,
yeah.
so you can plug it in the TV. And at first, Apple's like, yeah, you have to use ours. But what later was the turns out was Apple reversed the signals. So the video signal, the yellow cable, was coming out of one of the audio ports, and
Oh my god.
vice versa. So you could actually use any 3.5 to RCA cable you wanted. You could buy a cheap one, but Apple was reversing them, so you would buy their like $60 cable or whatever it was.
Well,
I
that's
mean,
lawsuit material.
They weren't big enough to.
a part of me just respects that sort of like we could do the super. That's like the opposite of Apple. Like they have like, oh, we're gonna do this like over the top. We're gonna be more innovative than we need to. We're gonna use more components than we need to. And this time they're just like, what if we flip the yellow and the red?
That's
Boom.
literally what they did.
Insane.
Yeah. So, because I remember like wanting to do video out from my iPod video, but I couldn't afford the crazy cable. And then I found online that's like, yeah, you can just take any 3.5 cable to RCA, reverse them to your TV's input, and you can do video out. So, yep.
Wild.
Yep, that was the thing. Okay, going long on this, so I'm just going to wrap up a few things. Some complaints about these that are pretty obvious. Price, they're too expensive. They still don't fold, which is ridiculous. To be fair, they just sit at my desk. I will never travel with these. AirPods Pro 3 are more than enough for me to travel with. These are my desk headphones. And the case is ridiculous. And another reason why I did get these is I moved my PlayStation into here, and I'm using this cable to plug into my PlayStation controller. And honestly, it's just easier now to have USB-C, so I can charge them anywhere. So that was kind of why I got them. But yeah, those are my AirPods Max 2. Neeleon, feel free to roast away.
Okay. My biggest pet peeve reading the reviews about this pair, the new AirPods Max, is how nobody talks about the headband because it's still atrocious.
Yeah.
And like the headband alone, I don't want to recommend this to anyone at all. Like it could sound like an absolute dream inside. I still think it would be a ripoff because the headband it ages like super fast. If you have long hair, maybe you're a bit of a sweaty person. I don't know, but as long as like even if you don't have long hair, but I feel like long hair
Or wear a
worsens it
hat.
because you have products in your hair, or I don't know. Yeah, or even like even if you wear a hard hat or something.
Because I got the little dimple thing at the top
Yeah,
of it that pokes onto it. Yeah.
those destroy the headband so fast. Like I don't know any other headphones in that price range which has this problem. Like this is insane. I can't. This is my biggest pet peeve. And like to illustrate that, I read a review. I think it was Cult of Mac. I don't remember 925. I don't remember. One publication wrote at the end of their review wrote. So the headband still feels super comfortable, but we don't know how they will age. We'll see. It ended like this.
We do know how it's gonna age. It's
And I
gonna
was like,
age like
what do
this.
you mean we'll see?
This right here. This
Yes.
it's not focusing. But like this right here, like that's how it's gonna do it. Like,
Yes,
it's
we've
gonna be
known the issue
terrible.
for
It's gonna be
5 years,
exactly like that.
over 5 years, and people are still wondering, will this age well? Yeah,
Yeah.
No, I'm completely with you. Like the headband is not gonna age well on these things. And they're too expensive for the headband not to age well.
Yeah. If Apple had said something about like, oh, we've changed the headband, then I could see that line. But no, they didn't. It's exactly
No,
the
it's
same.
literally the same.
We have so much data on this.
Yeah, this
That's
is
funny.
insane. The second thing is, I think this comes back to the fact that I've come to hate Bluetooth so much that I just can't imagine having to deal with Apple's workarounds, crazy workarounds, just to plug my headphones into something. I hate this so much. I hate this so much. The future, like for them to feel like the future, they would have to turn into regular analog headphones when you plug them in, so that they don't use battery, so that like even turn off all the smart features, like just plug them in, they're regular headphones, and it's just analog, and that's it. Yes, the Sonys do that.
Yeah, I wear these Sonys every single week for an hour or like 2 hours because of Cozy Zones. I record 2 hours every week. I literally never charge these.
Yeah,
They're
because
not on right now. They're just
not
audio.
on.
They're just analog.
Can I point out something really funny about the AirPods Max when you plug them in?
Yeah.
So you have the USB-C to 3.5 millimeter cable. It plugs in on the right cup, but if you have a MacBook Pro, the 3.5 millimeter port is on the left side. So that means you're going from your right ear to the left side of your MacBook, which means you have a cable crossing in front of you,
Yum.
like this.
Nice. Also, that's a short cable.
It is a very short cable,
Yeah.
which is fine for me. The way I'm using it, I don't want a long cable, but it is a very short cable.
Yeah. That's it. I'm done.
Okay. All right.
Don't buy these.
Or do whatever, you know. Do what you want.
No, don't know.
Do
You
what
listen
you
to me.
want.
Listen to me.
Do what you want.
You have no
look,
free will. What do
I
you
bought
mean?
them. I bought 'em.
Neilian is your free will now.
Yes, my
Then
free will
why,
is your
then
free
why,
will.
Then why did I buy them?
Because
It's all an
you're
illusion.
rogue. You're a
You
rogue
didn't actually
person.
do it.
Yeah, right. Yeah. These are knockoffs, actually.
Yep, it's where I got Danielle's Gucci purse too. Don't tell her.
Hermes.
Hermes. I don't know. I don't know fashion brands. I think Gucci was the only one that I knew. All right. Well, so that's enough of that. I have AirPods Max too. I'm working on a video. I like them,
Nice.
but they're still too expensive. So yeah. Matt, what do you got for us this week?
So I don't have so much an app as the concept of an app. And
what is an app?
as the development bug captures the comfort zone crew more and more, I wanted to talk about the adventure I'm on right now, where I'm trying to build yet another app. This one is maybe just for me. I think we'll see how it turns out. But
I want it.
I know.
But you showed it to me. You showed it to me. It means you legally owe it to me.
Yeah. Okay. So what I am trying to do now is build a dictation app, because of all the things that have changed about how I use my computer in the last few years. The biggest change is dictation apps. I literally use this all day, every day. It is a core part of how I use my computer now. Like, I dictate so much. And one of the annoying things is that Apple's built-in dictation is tough to use. It does not do punctuation well. It doesn't do proper nouns well. It's a little rough. So there's all these third-party apps that do it, and they use local models typically, but they charge a subscription, and it is a pretty expensive subscription in most cases. Like, it's $10 to $15 a month, which is not nothing. Like, before the days of the $20 AI subscriptions, like $10 a month was like the ceiling for consumer software. Like, nothing was more than that, right? Like, $20 a month for ChatGPT Plus was crazy when they first announced that. We're like, nobody does $20 subscriptions, and now it's like $15 to dictate to your computer,
or a $200 AI subscription a month.
Yeah. So I was like, there's gotta be a better way. So I was like, look, I've been building apps for the past year that work with dictation and text and speech to text, text to speech, each direction. And surely I could take these skills and put together something myself that runs locally, that has zero cost to me as the developer, and that I could use myself. And if it's good enough, I could release it and see if other people like it. And it is so hard to do this well. I thought it would be easy. I thought it would just be, implement Apple Speech Engine, boom, fast. It's on everybody's device that has Apple Intelligence. Great, lovely. No, it doesn't work that way. Apple Speech Engine is not good enough to do dictation, because it's effectively what their own dictation does, right? Which has its own issues. So I tried using that, just doing raw output, and it sucked. It wasn't good enough. So I was like, shoot, well, how do I fix this? And I was like, well, you have this Quick Notes app that has a cleanup feature that already does this. It does Apple's dictation. It transcribes everything, and then you clean it up with the power of AI. Again, still local, still no cost to anybody. So let's try that. But that was too slow. So I was just sitting there waiting for it to transcribe, and then waiting for it to do some AI mumbo jumbo to it. And it wasn't even good enough. And Apple's foundation model is so frustrating, because This is a thing that I thwarted in Quick Notes, but somehow I literally the same instructions did different things here. It really wants to chat with you. So even though I'm like, hey, here's some text, you are not responding to this. You are not giving a response at all to this. You are just trying to clean it up to fix things like punctuation and proper nouns and this sort of thing. And very often I would just I would dictate something into this and it would say I would be like, I don't know what I would say. It doesn't matter. But it would return the text that it would print out on my screen is the Apple Foundation model replying to whatever I talked into my app. And I was like, this sucks. It's slow and it sucks. What do I do next? So now I've implemented WhisperKit, which is the GOAT when it comes to local transcription. And it's doing much better. But now it's slower. And so I'm having, especially when you're you're dictating for 30 seconds, a minute or more, it's just taking a while to transcribe that. And it feels slow. So then I'm like, okay, here's what you do. We're going to pause on silences. So if the user pauses for more than a second without saying anything, we cut the audio file off, we transcribe that in the background, and we keep recording. And every time they pause, we cut off a new sliver and we do this transcription. And this is working okay. But now there's awkward breaks because the transcription, sometimes if you pause in the middle of a sentence, it gets confused because it doesn't know where to put the punctuation. So then I'm like, well, then do I do a foundation model request afterwards and say fix the punctuation? And now I'm in the same situation. And so this can be done. It can be done because apps do it. But I don't know how they do it, and I'm figuring it out. But I'm getting closer. It's getting better. So I'm actually using it. It's getting to the point where I can use it for myself most of the time. So I think that's pretty good. But software development is hard, especially once you move beyond just displaying databases in pretty interfaces. It's very tricky. And I'm doing this on a Mac. So it's not like a window in the traditional way that and Neilian, you're dealing with this with Tiny Start. It's not like a window with three traffic lights and tabs and views and traditional stuff. It's something custom, and so it lives on screen, but it's not a window.
It feels very hacky when you do this.
Yeah.
You have to create some fake stuff to make macOS believe that it's a window, but it's not. It's weird.
Yeah. And so you have to make sure the focus works, because when you switch to an app window, it sets it to the focus, but you're not technically the focus. You need the focus to be the thing in the background, because for the emoji picker, you need the emoji to go into the app, not into your window. And same with my text. I need to go into a thing, and then dealing with history. What if it fails? Can you recover the audio? Do I save the audio? I don't want to save the audio because that's going to take up space and people are going to freak out. All this is to say, I'm making progress, but it is very interesting because, not interesting, I think it's notable that this is not a super complicated app in the grand scheme of things. This is a pretty simple piece of software, but there are so many things to consider, and you don't get it for free. You have to figure this out yourself. And I'm saying this as someone who uses Claude Code for basically all the code that I write. A lot of this is happening in the terminal. And even then, I have to, there's so many things to know about how macOS works, how I want the data structure to be, how I want all this to work. It's not just enter a prompt to get an app. There's still so much to do. And it's very fun, but it's very complicated as well. And, I don't know. I just wanted to talk about it because it is. I was thinking about what to bring this week, and I was literally the only thing on my mind is how to get this stupid app working. This is all I care about right now, is figuring out how to get this.
What you're saying about the UI part, and when you're developing an app that's not just sitting in a regular window. We mentioned this earlier in the episode. That's what looking at emoji pickers, like Swift emoji pickers on GitHub, helped me understand the approaches that people are taking. Maybe you should do that. Maybe you should look at projects being done like this and look at this yourself and just maybe even try to fork it and modify things yourself to see how things behave. This has helped me a lot getting started and just getting a launcher on screen that's not stealing focus from other windows when you're using it. Yeah, that was a big breakthrough.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I guess that's really all I have to say. I guess the other thing that I keep thinking about is a year ago or almost a year ago at WWDC, Apple was like, we have this new transcription model and this new foundation model. And I started working on those like the next day. I started integrating with those and figuring out how they worked and how to use them. And just like getting those basic skills together makes me think of all these other ideas. Oh, here I have this skill. Here's how I can use it in a different context.
Mm.
Right, because like that's what my Quick Notes app was I want to dictate into my iPhone and get high quality transcripts from it. And okay, that's great, but that came from Quick Subtitles, which was I have the audio file already, give me the good text. And now I was like, what if I made the audio file in real time and then give me good text? And now this builds on that, which is like on a Mac in a totally different context where I'm not like bringing up separate apps. Let me just hit a button and say things. So anyway, it's fun to see how
You
you
could
learn one
make
thing and it builds up.
You could build like an all-in-one, record your podcast, publish it, and you host it yourself. So that's a service. There you go, boom. You have service revenue. And so, yeah, it's all one thing. So people can dictate their podcast. It's all at the same time recording, doing the chapters. And it also gives you a transcription for the episode. And then you click publish, and it's all uploaded to your servers and into the podcast apps. And you're welcome. This is an amazing idea.
It isn't. That would be so much work.
Call me when you raise 1 billion. And
Yeah, I expect a cushy job.
Okay. Makes sense.
But it would like gather up all you've done so far, right?
I know. This is a thing that I've thought about, is making some sort of like podcaster studio app that kind of combines chapterization stuff, transcription stuff, show notes, all this stuff into one place, and it'd be so
You're
much
missing
work.
the hosting part, and then you're good to go.
I mean, I could figure out the hosting part. I am working on another app that does web hosting. It is a web app that lives on the web and hosts audio files for things. I won't say more. So yeah, it could be done.
Yeah.
With infinite time. It's amazing.
If you feel like this is like $1 billion idea, you just ask our editor to cut all of this, and so that you keep it to yourself.
Well, the idea is nothing. People could think about this. You just got to do it.
Okay.
So, Editor Chris, don't worry about it.
Okay. All right. But if it does become $1 billion thing, hire me. I'll become your in-house
You haven't said
influencer.
anything. I should be higher than this.
But I'll make the YouTube videos. I'll be like, this is why you want to use this.
That's a good point. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll use my influence.
I'll
whatever
do,
little I have.
What can I do? I'll sell NFTs. I don't know. For you?
No, you make the emoji picker. You build the emoji part of the dictation, so that way, like you just dictate what emoji you want.
Okay. Well, I mean, it's clear we'll all be even partners in this.
Matt will do most of the work.
We're just scamming him live.
We're just totally leeching onto him.
You got this, Matt. You got this.
You got this. Our futures depend on you. Yeah. No pressure.
We are on the line for you.
I'm putting all my retirement, everything, my life savings. I'm putting it all on you. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I just sent in my resignation. So.
Yep.
I would like to formally announce my retirement from coding. Hopefully that doesn't negatively impact anybody.
Wait, what? I deleted my YouTube channel, Matt. What do you mean?
It keeps happening.
Anyways, I hope this does work out for you, because this is genuinely an interesting app. I would love to have a good local dictation app or a good, let me rephrase, a good dictation app that doesn't charge me an arm and a leg every month.
Yeah. Agreed.
All right. Should we move on to the challenge?
Ugh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. That's, yeah. Neleon, it was your challenge.
Yes, I feel like I cheated, but the challenge was
Oh, God.
the prompt was back up your entire photos library, and the best method wins.
Okay.
So I can go first.
Okay.
So I looked at things. Um, things are expensive.
Yeah. Yeah. Storage is a little pricey right now.
But
Who would have thought?
even not counting the storage, like software, like just
Mm.
backup software that's dedicated to doing this, to backing up a photos library specifically, it's expensive. If it's not subscription, even like I found one utility that was one-time purchase, and I don't know, it felt like I don't know the value of this. I don't know if I should go all in on this. Anyway, so in the end, I cheated by going to privacy.apple.com. Are you aware of this trick? It's a
Oh,
good
no.
trick. Yeah. So if you go to privacy.apple.com, there's a section on there. So you have to sign in, and there's a section on there. I'm signed out now. I can't see it properly word for word because Apple
Get a
accounts
copy
can't
of your
stay
data.
signed in on the web ever. Sorry?
Request a copy of your data.
Yes, exactly. That's the one. So request a copy of your data. And so you click on that and you can download everything from your Apple
Holy
account. Like you
crap.
can download your entire iCloud drive if you want. You can download all your notes, all your contacts, your calendar stuff, all your emails. You can download anything. And there's a section there for photos. And there's even a warning there. I don't remember what it says specifically because now I'm signed out. But it says photos can be like very large. Photo
Yeah, it
library can be
says
very large.
the following items may be large and take a long time to download, and that includes iCloud Drive files and documents, iCloud Mail, and
Yeah.
iCloud Photos.
Exactly. And so, but they have a way to deal with that that's actually pretty smart. So I went ahead and did that with photos. I select photo, then continue. And there you have an option to split your download into multiple files of the same size. So you can, for example, you can cap it at 1 gigs, or more. I think it's 110, 100. I remember. Um, so I went with 10. So it gave me multiple 10 gigabyte files that you don't have to download all simultaneously. You can download one after the other. So that's actually pretty smart. It was tedious, but it worked. Also, where are Apple servers? Are they on the moon? Are they on the Artemis 2 rocket ship or whatever? Because the download rate, it was really bad. I don't know where the servers are.
I'm sure it's not a server location thing. I'm sure it's a server data cap thing. Like so that way they're not just letting you just bleed their bandwidth dry.
I feel like for this purpose they should allow me to download much
well, they have the
faster.
warning there that it's going to take a while, which
That's true.
I think is fair, but I have a feeling they do this so people aren't constantly, because that's going to cost a lot of money to download that
Yeah,
amount of
I
storage.
guess.
So I have a feeling they're doing this so people don't constantly use this.
Yeah, maybe. So anyway, I did this, and I did this over 2 nights. Just because at some point I was like, I'm tired of this, so I'll do the rest tomorrow. And also it takes like I said, it takes few hours to download every time. So I downloaded 2 at once or 3 at once, and then gave up, and then started again the next day. But yes, there you go. I have folders upon folders of my entire photos library downloaded from this on my 4 terabyte HDD. I don't know if I'll keep that, but I've done it. I've backed up my photos library using Apple's thing that they had to do because it's probably illegal not to do this, at least in the EU.
It's probably more just like people are like lose their photo library and more of a service too. Like, how many
Yeah.
stories have you all heard about like person gets locked out of their Apple account or iPhone and
Yeah,
like their
that's
photo
scary.
library is gone because they didn't back it up or something like that. So, yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. I don't know. Maybe I cheated, but I don't know. I backed up my photos library in the end, and
Nice.
it for free, like using the existing hard drive and using Apple's download tool.
Nice.
How did you do, Matt?
One second. I was looking up something for our next bit. I did horribly. I
Oh.
was like, what if? Well, I mean, the answer is I want them on my Synology, which is already working, which didn't really fit the challenge. So I didn't
Same.
just say, I will continue to do what I've been doing, which I'm happy with. And so what I chose was sadness. And I chose this via, as often happens in software, through Microsoft. And I installed OneDrive on my Mac and was like, I wonder if this can auto like back up my Apple Photos library, because Google Photos does that. And I was like, let me see if that works. And it does, but I hate it. The interface for photos in OneDrive is rough. It feels like a remnant of the Windows 8 era of design, in that it's all just, I don't know, it ain't right. And it sucks. And it very quickly was like, hey, buddy, you don't pay for storage through us. Would you like to pay? And I was like, no, not at any cost. So I uninstalled it and then deleted all the photos. So I have done nothing. I'm ending the week exactly where I started, but I did back up approximately 4.5 gigabytes of photos to OneDrive before deleting them, which I can confirm the upload and the delete functions do function. So that's something.
Okay.
Okay.
So because the free cap was at 5
Yeah.
gig. Okay.
Yeah. I used to pay for it because I do have a Windows computer, but I was so angry. I do not want to pay this. So I stopped.
Yeah. Who wants to give money to Microsoft? Anyways.
Especially for OneDrive.
Yeah. All right. So, like Matt, I already back up my photo library to my NAS. That already happens through Synology. Synology has an app that like syncs with the Apple Photos app and will copy everything off. So I was like, okay, my Apple Photos library is already backed up, but I do have technically a second photos library. I have fancy cameras, and whenever I shoot the raw photos with those, I put them in folders in iCloud Drive. I usually what I do is I will date them, or if it's a trip or something, I'll label them or whatever, and then I have 2 folders in there, raws and then edited. So I will back up all the raw photos, so I always have the raw photos, and then anything I edit in Lightroom, now Pixelmator Photo, I will put in the edited folder. So that stuff was being backed up via Time Machine because it was an iCloud drive, and Time Machine will still back that stuff up. But what I did is I was like, okay, I have that, but let's take a look at this. So I went and built a Hazel script, and let me pull up Hazel here. I should have already had that. So what it does is it watches that folder, and anytime there is new content of any file, it syncs this folder to a photography folder on an external drive that I have. And I'm actually going to keep this, and I'm going to switch it to my NAS. But since I already had the NAS backup, I figured I'd do something different for the challenge. I have a bunch of other external drives just laying around that I got pre-external drive storage costs that skyrocketed. I did look at a few other options. I was like, oh, what if I bought like a specific NAS just for backing up photos or something? No, storage costs are stupid expensive. Not doing that right now. So I just took a 1 terabyte external drive that I have laying around. I plugged it in the back of the CalDigit hub. It just sits there, and anytime new stuff is going to be added to that folder, it'll sync those 2 folders together, so they'll always be in sync. Bye, 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 bye. No? Okay. Stick and move. But yeah, so that way they will stay in sync, and that library will now live in 2 places. I win.
Okay. That's nice.
I'm the only one that actually made a backup thing. So
Hey, I backed up something,
you went to a website.
which let me back up my photos library.
You weren't actually backing anything up. It was already being sent there.
I still don't understand what a backup is.
Why? No, it's one. No, it was not already sent there. No.
Mm-hmm.
Like right now, apart from this, I have no copy of my photo library.
You don't have it in an app called Photos.
Yes, but that's on iCloud Drive.
Yes, and that's where
iCloud,
that's
iCloud.
where that website you went to pulled it from.
Yes, but to put it on an external drive. So there's a second copy now. I backed it up.
This is what makes me not do backups, because every time I say, "Oh, I did a backup person's like, "No, you did not."
That's not a backup.
Why is it not a backup?
It needs to be in a bulletproof, fireproof casing that is kept on the other side of the country at 20,000 feet elevation.
Okay.
Fair enough.
No, not
Or
really.
on OneDrive.
Anyways. No. No, do not keep your backup on OneDrive. Get it? But OneDrive.
Oh, that's actually a horrible name, I guess, if you want backups.
It is a terrible name. Yeah. I get what they were going for, but yeah.
It's like one password.
Yeah. I can just use one password for everything. I don't
you
need
have to
to
back up your password on a post-it note on your computer monitor, as well as a third place that is under lock and key.
On one post-it note.
One post-it note.
I have it tattooed on my forehead. That's why I have to wear a hat.
This makes sense.
So anytime I need my password, I look in a mirror, but then it's reversed. So I have to look at another mirror.
Oh, it's like Apple's encryption with the RCA cable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. That's where I got the idea from. All right. I have no idea who won except I won. So let's move on to my challenge.
I think you actually have a method. So
I do have a method.
Yeah.
I built something.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. You guys ready for the new challenge?
Yes.
All right. So as Matt said earlier in the episode, I'm getting a puppy in 4 weeks from a couple of days ago. So at the time you're hearing this, probably 3 weeks now. I'm getting a little puppy, and we're very, very excited. Danielle and I have wanted a puppy for a really long time, and we had some family friends that their dog had some puppies. I know you should spay and neuter your dog. That's not my dog. I had no control over that. But what I do know is that they were looking for people to adopt these puppies. We jumped on it. So in a couple of weeks, once they're a little bit bigger and kind of weaned off the mom, we will be going and picking up a puppy. So for the challenge, I want you all to find some best pet tech. Neon, you have a cat. Matt, you have a dog.
Oh.
I technically will have both in a couple of weeks. So find some pet tech.
Okay.
Ideally, something for me to order for my new puppy. That's who wins. If you find something that I can order for my new puppy that I'm excited about and can order for, that's who wins. That's how we will decide the winner.
There's something I've been wanting to get for our cat, but my partner vetoes it every time.
Now you can.
Now
you have to do it for your work.
Yeah.
For your work.
I can say, yeah, it's for the show.
Yep.
You're letting hundreds of thousands of people down. Yeah.
Yep. Hundreds of thousands.
Yes.
Hey, if you'd like to not subscribe, if you'd like to sponsor Comfort Sound, reach out to John Voorhees. But anyways, so that's the challenge for next week. Find some pet tech. Ideally, if it's something I end up ordering for my puppy, let me, that's who wins. So, yeah.
Okay.
All right. That brings us to the end of the show, and I have an end of the show question for the two of you. What?
Wait, I have a question.
Okay.
Do headphone cushions count as pet tech?
No.
Okay.
It's got to be something for the animal, not something to keep you from the animal. I mean, I guess if you want to give it to them and chew it up, I guess. Hopefully it's not toxic.
Okay.
Come on, I'm bringing all the hits today.
Yes.
All right. Okay. So I have an end of the show question for you guys. In what sci-fi or fantasy world would you want to live in?
Okay.
Super easy for me. I could answer this right away.
Well, what's your answer?
Lord of the Rings, and I want to live in the Shire. I want to eat, drink, and be merry.
Okay, that's a good one.
Yeah.
I think you've asked a similar question in the past, and I responded with
Ooh,
Beetlejuice, and you were like, "No, that doesn't count."
that doesn't count.
So
Beetlejuice.
I'm moving on to something a little different. I would like to live in the Galar region.
What is
Oh,
that?
This is from Pokemon Sword and Shield.
interesting. You picked Galar.
I love that game. I think it's just so cozy.
Interesting.
It's like a British countryside.
Mm-hmm.
It seems nice. People are happy. The biggest controversies are around Pokemon battles. Like, I think it'd be a chill place to live for a while.
And all the Pokemon battles take place in stadiums too.
Yeah. You just go and watch
So it's a
animals
Pokemon.
fight each other.
Yep, nothing problematic there.
So it's a Pokemon thing.
It's a Pokemon thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Leon, what about you?
I think my answer is also Lord of the Rings, and mostly because in that world they were able to beat fascism,
Mm.
and that sounds like a pretty good place.
You don't
to
think
be.
Aragon would bring a different form of fascism as the king?
I don't know. I don't think I would like to live in his kingdom.
Mm.
Yeah, feels like too big of a place. It's like
So
today I don't want to live in the US. Too big.
What region would you want to live in then?
I don't know.
Would you want to be an elf maiden? A dwarf
Nah,
lord?
the elf. Sorry.
Oh, wow. Damn.
Screw the elves. I like
You
your
wanna live-
idea of the Shire, something like
Okay,
that.
the Shire.
yes.
Like you just see the Shire and it's like, yeah, that's where I
Yeah.
want to live. Like I want to live in the Shire.
Yeah,
All
maybe
right, cool.
I have a tavern. I'm the manager of the tavern in
Ooh.
Brie.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. But
Techni-
I
isn't that
manage it,
technically
so I don't
outside of
go
the
all
Shire,
every
though?
day there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Isn't Bree technically outside of the Shire?
Oh, it is outside. Yes.
Okay, all right. I
But
just
it's not
just look. Stephen Colbert is gonna listen to this, and he was gonna write in and be like, "Well, you said the Shire, but Bree is not technically in the Shire." So
Okay.
I'm just fending off the Stephen Colbert feedback.
Okay.
All right, cool. All right. Thank you all so much for listening or watching. We have a video version on YouTube on the MacStories channel if you want to check it out. And a huge thank you to MacStories. We're a MacStories podcast. Go check out the website. There's all the other writings and podcasts. Lots of stuff happening over there. Thank you all. Have a great day.
Oh, bye.
What are you guys doing?
I don't know.
All right. Thumbnail.